Where do you want to start from?
Let's start again there. If you could introduce yourself again.
I'm Peter Stakoviak. I'm owner of Perth Pewter and Rockcliffe Fantasy Pewter.
All right, how did you get started in this organization?
My father used to do sinkers and lead soldiers in the backyard for me when I was a little kid to play with. I was about 5, 6 years old.
And you mentioned earlier World War II.
They were World War II figurines made out of metal molds.
Metal molds.
Yeah.
At this, of course, as old as you've been doing this, they were using lead, right?
Oh, they were all lead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it used to be sash weights from windows that he would melt down. Any lead he could find. He was a New York City fireman.
Oh, I bet.
So we had some horrendous smells in the backyard. It was all done outside.
Have you worked for many of the major companies at the time, like Ralph Partha, Grenadier, and all them?
No, I was familiar with a lot of them, but the one I started was Superior Models, who was the owner of Perth Pewter.
Okay.
That was John Carter. When I wanted to get into it, I sought him out because he was definitely the best as far as I was concerned. And I called him up and asked him if I could come down and work as an apprentice. He said no. So I called him every day for a year, and after a year he said, if I let you down, will you stop calling me? And I said, yeah. And we hit it off, and I worked with him for 20 years, and I was an apprentice for 15.
Now, I recognize a lot of the work is from some of these older companies and all that, so you acquired the molds?
Yeah, a lot of them, well, Rockcliffe, a lot of those molds were Partha licensing, and they were licensed Sandra Garrity and a number of other artists. And I'm also going back and relicensed a lot of it, and Sandra Garrity actually told us that she has some greens, so we could start with some of the pieces that they used to make, but okay. Bring back. We've worked with John Dennett through Superior Models, and well, actually he was more through Perth Pewter. We worked with John Dennett and a number of others over the years.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I've had a lot of workings with a lot of different artists. Stephen Tufano is a fantastic man. I've worked with him a number of times.
If you would suggest a modern current gaming company, you know, other than Games Workshop, you know, because what would you suggest?
As far as the games themselves?
Gaming miniatures and, you know.
I got to be honest with you, as far as hobby miniatures, I really like Medival. I like a lot of the artists that they have. Yes. I'm also a huge fan of FASA because they do the Cthulhu's and the same type of detail. I mean, they do wonderful work.
FASA's still going around?
FASA, I'm not sure if FASA's around, but
I thought, didn't they turn into WizKids and all that with Mage Knight and all them?
And it switched hands quite a bit over the years. And that's pretty much. Partha is still around. That's now called Iron Winds.
Yeah, I found their website on there. It's nice to know their old stuff's still going.
Actually, from what I understand, it's the casters that used to work for Partha that took over the company and called it Iron Winds.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so they're continuing on the tradition too, which is one of the best companies that was out.
Now you have your stand here in Norman, Oklahoma. You show up every year. We've been talking off and on from that time. I've collected some.
Yeah, this is my 7th year here.
Okay. How many other cities do you go to throughout the year?
We do the New York Renaissance Festival in Tuxedo, New York, and that's an 8-week show.
Okay.
And then we do the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair, which is in Manhunt, just north of Lancaster, and that's a 12-week show. That runs from August to the end of October.
Oh, wow.
I've cut it back to 3 shows because I've gotten so busy in the shop, because we also do contract molds for other companies.
Oh, okay. And you also have your website there, so a lot of people who can't make it out there, they can buy a lot of these.
That, and we started a Facebook site so that this way you can get sneak peeks on things that we're working on.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes up to a year before we get the large limited editions out. And also, if you're coming to a show, we'll tell you what show we're at and what little catchphrase to use so that you can get a discount.
Oh.
So you come up and you say a certain phrase at each show, you get a discount at the booth.
Keep that in mind, everybody. All right. Well, I'm going to take a look around at some of the samples here. You got, all right. Oh, excuse me, everyone. Oh, excuse me.
Have a good day. And that's an actual piece that came out of this mold.
Sorry if the wording's in the way.
It actually came right out of here. They don't come out looking like that. We do a process. You get the piece of metal out of there and turn it into, and then we just put the diamonds and crystals into it. So it's actually to make the little guys, they're pretty fast. They come out pretty fast. We have to brush. We have 5 different processes to get them to look like the same.
All right. Oh, excuse me, everyone.
And they are fully adjustable. You can adjust the rings too.
I got one of these one time.
Oh, you did you? Yeah, they're great.
Wish I had the skill to paint them.
Why would you want a cuttlefish? Why not?
All right.
Thank you very much.
Dragon.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is at Perth Pewter Miniatures.
Hey, how we doing?
Check them
I
out.
saw you over there, but I'll say hello again.
Well, I guess first, if you'd like to introduce yourself here and what you do here.
My name is Tony Cable. I'm blacksmithing at the Medival Fair in Norman. I belong to an organization called the Saltfork Craftsmen. About 300 members statewide.
Okay.
Mostly hobby smiths. There's a few professionals that are full-time in the bunch, but most of us are hobbyists.
Okay.
We try to keep the old arts alive. And there's actually been a renaissance of some kind in the last few years in the blacksmithing art.
Okay.
People coming back to it and doing it more and more.
Right. So your numbers are increasing there.
Our numbers are increasing.
How many people you got all over the country here?
We have in excess of 300. They're not all from Oklahoma. It's an interesting thing. We have people from the surrounding states as well.
Okay.
Arizona, Arkansas, Texas, even as far away as Iowa, Idaho. Not a lot of members that far off, but we do have members that far off.
How long have you been in the business?
I've been blacksmithing for about 8 years.
8 years.
I got into this group. I met a gentleman to buy coal, and he introduced me to forging. And that was my first experience after I bought my first bag of coal. So I love it. I sit at a desk for my regular job. I get to go do this for fun.
American dream right there. Now we got like 5 stands here. 4 of them got the furnaces going there. I mean, and you were telling me that this is the most you ever see in one setting, and usually about 1 or 2 tents in our areas.
It is. This is probably the biggest gathering of blacksmiths all working at one time.
All right. So, and of course, you guys are making everything this guy over here, you know.
We do. There is a wide variety. The Saltfork organization is not just blacksmiths. It's the Saltfork Artist Craftsmen Blacksmith Association is the official name. We have jewelers in the bunch. We have silversmiths. We have coppersmiths, blacksmiths, all walks of humanity. Everybody has their own thing they like to do. Some like to make knives and swords.
Right.
Some like to do structural architectural stuff.
Okay.
A lot of people like to do reenactment. A lot of us do multiple events. It's not only medieval fairs, but it's...
Let me guess, when you went to the...
We do the state fair. I do land run festivals. Civil War reenactors in our group.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's all kinds of diversity.
So anything that involved a blacksmith throughout the human ages, you know, has got a spot right here, one form or another.
Civil War, you name it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we follow those genres. It's a lot of fun to go to those different events and represent those areas.
Do y'all keep in contact with each other regularly, or?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. There's a meeting in the state somewhere every weekend. The state's broken down into 4 sections, and each of those sections has a meeting every month.
All right.
The 5th Saturdays are classes.
Now we're, you know, showing, you know, you have something to teach, you can teach it to them. And
We do a beginning blacksmith class 2 or 3 times a year, and then there's joinery classes and advanced blacksmithing classes multiple times on the 5th Saturdays.
wow. Huh. I always found the metalworking fascinating some way or another. I guess I'll probably go ahead and start taking a filming of like some of the furnaces here. Thank you very much.
This way!
I'll show you what real metal work is. True metal work. Very grand.
Look at his up here. Fire red.
If I may ask, sir, what are you working on right now? What are you working on right now?
I am working on drawing out this piece of metal,
Okay.
turning it into a heart.
Ah. How long have you been working in this, working in this organization here?
I've been working on it for about a year,
Okay.
over a year.
Okay.
It's a very long hobby.
slightly more deadly than it.
Making the fire harder.
That's where it's not as delicate as it is. You can burn it out.
You wouldn't even pick that up. That whole long piece was a 3-inch.
If I may ask, sir, what are you about to make over here?
I'm going to work on actually a dagger.
A dagger?
It's true.
How far along have you are you into the process here?
Not very far at all. I've just squared off the end of a railroad spike.
How long would a process like this usually take from start to finish?
For me, I don't know. I've only been doing this for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And this is only the second dagger I've even attempted to shape out. So it takes a lot longer for me. For
okay.
Some of the other folks like Donovan or some of the other bladesmiths, probably an hour or two to shape out the general shape.
So, have you completed a dagger once?
I haven't completed one entirely. I've got one shaped out at the house that I had done in a previous demo, but then I'm lacking in some of the tools to finish it off. Unless I'm able to bring the stuff here and kind of work on it.
Work on it as you go, otherwise you can only. Right. So in other words, you're going to work on what you can do here at the moment here, and once you get done, you'll finish off later on.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a couple of other local guys here that I can potentially go over to their shop and do some more work on it. It's still a hobby, so not something I spend exorbitant amount of time on outside of work.
I have a question.
Yep.
Can you make me a sword and a shield?
I don't know that I could actually. I would likely mess up the sword attempting to make a sword. I'm not that good yet. I could probably make a shield. It would take a long time to hammer a piece of stock that flat though, at least by hand. Although I could potentially rivet smaller pieces together. Your best bet is to stick with a wooden practice sword and a wooden shield until you can graduate up to the more serious stuff.
Well, lots of luck to you, sir.
What? You got nailed, didn't you?
I think that's too far beyond my skill.
Ice cream!
Taking a chain?
Ice cream, yes. Ice cream!
Yeah.
Right?
Say that's that. Say this is that.
This must have taken a lot of work.
2 hours.
2 hours?
Now, if I funneled your girlfriend the same way you're funneling my battle axe, you you felt her sharp and pointy. Byron's supposed to be bringing them over here.
That X is useful.
Look on her face is priceless.
When he's getting here, but
And I was like,